Hey there, are you looking to start a new network marketing business? Or maybe you're already with the company, but you're just wondering, is it the right fit? Is this the best place for me long term? Because if you're like most people, you probably stumbled into your first network marketing business. And we don't mean like stumbled fall, right? But you just kind of like felt you did. You kind of just like stumbled into it. You had no idea how to evaluate the company or really didn't even know what to look for. So, whether you're venturing into this industry for the very first time or you've been asking yourself, am I in the right place? This episode is going to give you clarity and confidence moving forward as you choose the best home for you in this wonderful industry that we call network marketing. And I want to mention this is also a great episode to share with people who are wondering, how do I evaluate and know which company is the right one for me? So, if you get value, make sure you share.
Hey there, everyone. I'm Jordan Maley, and I'm here today with my mom and business partner, Kathy Schneider. We are the co-founders of the Global Freedom Community, and we want to welcome you to this episode of Coffee with K&J. As you're coming on live today, say hello, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on the page or the group, wherever. Let us know you're tuning in. Say hello. We would love to welcome you to the broadcast. And if you're catching the replay, comment and let us know you watched the replay. We would love to come back through and say hello and thank you for tuning in. So we are a mother-daughter team. We help driven network marketers with the simple strategies to grow your business quickly online without confusion and overwhelm. And if you're hanging out with us over on our new YouTube channel, be sure and hit the subscribe button so that you will be the first to know anytime a new episode of Coffee with K&J goes live.
Absolutely.
Also, this is how you can get access to the resources in real time, because with every new episode of Coffee with K&J, we also provide a free downloadable resource to help you get more out of what we cover. We don't like to just talk at you and send you off on your way. We like to give you real, tangible resources that you can then take and apply to your business immediately with every single episode. You'll find the link to download this week's resource across the bottom, or it could be across the top of the screen over at globalfreedomcommunity.com/47. Hey there, Elaine. Great to see you here. Awesome. Well, let's jump in, Mom.
Yeah. So, if you've followed us long at all, or maybe if you've just only been following us a short period of time, we love Jim Rohn quotes. We say that a lot. But this one is one of my favorites. You can't make progress without making decisions. So, we talked earlier about maybe you're with the right company, maybe you're not, maybe you're looking for the right company. Well, guess what? You've got to decide. You got to make a decision. You got to get off the fence, because progress requires making a decision. So that's why we put this episode together for you. We want to help you. If you're in that situation, you're not quite sure if you're where you're supposed to be. Well, you got to make a decision. You got to get off the fence. You got to, we want you to get some progress. We want you to move forward. And so that means making a decision. So what we're going to share today is going to help you make a decision so you can move forward.
Absolutely. Today, we're going to be talking about how to choose the right network marketing company for you. And the good news is the right one for you could be the one you're in right now, right?
Absolutely.
So we're not saying you got to make a change. That's not what this episode's about. In fact, I know for me, the fact that we evaluated our company before we made the decision to move here and we figured out, yes, this is the best place for us, gives us so much confidence in sharing it with other people. So evaluating where you are right now and saying, oh my gosh, yes, I'm in the right place, can give you more confidence when you go to share your business with others. And to help you with that evaluation, on top of the amazing tips we're going to share with you today, we put together a free download for you called our Choosing the Right Company Checklist. You can tell we get super creative with our checklist names, right? That's like a pretty stellar name right there. But that's what it's going to do for you, right? It's going to help you choose the right company. Basically, it's our personal checklist for how we chose the company we're with, and then how we evaluate any business, right? We have coaching clients, and people come to us all the time saying, do you think this is a good fit? And we always refer back to this checklist because it's just got some really awesome tips, some really great advice, sound business advice in it. So run over, grab that checklist at globalfreedomcommunity.com/47.
Absolutely. So, how most people find their first network marketing company, and I kind of touched on this earlier. And it's so true, though. Most people come into network marketing for the first time because they were introduced to a product they loved by a friend or a family member, which is cool. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Nothing wrong with that at all. But most have little to no business experience and much less any knowledge as far as like what to be looking for. So, like we said, they kind of just stumble onto it. And, maybe that's you. I know that was kind of me way back. I kind of stumbled on, I went looking for something based on, I was like, I like home furnishings. I think I want to do something that has to do with decorating. Well, there were so many reasons why that was not a good fit for me, but yet I just kind of just threw out an idea and went, okay, let me see what I can find, but there was no evaluating. So,
Hey, I'm really glad you did, because those baskets that you got with your starter kit 23 years ago, I still use them. I love them. So I'm glad you made that decision.
Yeah, that's Paige and I were laughing the other day about how many of those products from like 22 years ago we still have in the house. That's why it was a bad business decision, is nobody's rebuying those things. They don't need them. They're still
We
good.
don't even need anymore. Like, there's enough for the whole family to share these products 23 years later.
Well, and the quality's good, which is awesome. It was great quality, but you just, they don't go bad. They just stay around forever. So anyway, no big, it's kind of funny, but yeah, it was, so you don't know. And so sometimes, maybe, like most people, it's kind of like, if you think about your job, when you come into your job, and I want you to drop this in the comment. If you're a college graduate, or even if you're not a college graduate, but you have ever worked a job, have you been at the same place from day one? Like, have you, just let us know. Are you still in job number one? I know for me, like, I taught school, I owned a furniture store. I can't even tell you how many jobs I had before that. But when I really started as an adult, like, I was through with high school, through with college, and got into work, my career has changed multiple times. And I think sometimes in this industry, we think in network marketing that you got to go with one company and stay there forever. And you know what? That's great when it works out that way. And honestly, I'll have such admiration for people that's how it works out. But I think what is bad about it is so many times people feel that changing makes them look bad, that it makes them look fickle, that it makes them look like they're not making good decisions. People change jobs all the time. We don't think anything of it.
Well, like my husband, Chris, he went to school for photography because that was something he loved. And he got a job taking stock photos, like for a website for motorcycle gear. So his job was to take pictures of, and if you know my husband, you would laugh at that, because that is so not, like, he's not into motorcycles, but he could tell you anything about any model of motorcycle and any gear that you could possibly ever need, because he's taken photos of all of it. And it's pretty interesting because that company downsized, and they told him, if you want to keep your job, you need to learn how to design websites. And he was like, okay. So he went and bought some books. He learned how to design websites. That led him to his current job, where he now works for a university designing websites for a huge university. And it's pretty cool, like how, one thing led to another thing, led to another thing. And he figured out he loves photography, but he didn't like it as his full-time job, right? And so it's just, again, another example of, you got to learn and grow, and you got to live life a little to figure out what's the best fit for you.
Exactly.
And hey there, Elaine and Cynthia, and hello from Fort Worth. Sometimes we can't see, like, it says Facebook user, so we're not sure who you are, but just know we're glad you're here. And hey there, Lily, great to see you guys here this morning with us. So let's talk, is your current company the right fit for you? Mom and I were with a business for over 10 years, and they made some changes, companies do, and we started really kind of getting the impression that we weren't in the right place. But we had a team of several thousand people, so it was a really big decision. It wasn't just something you wake up one day and say, "Nah, we're leaving," right? It was a big decision, but what helped us with that decision was coming to the conclusion that that particular company was not going to get us where we want to go. Right. And as much as we tried to make it fit, it wasn't going to fit. And as the company continued to make more and more changes, it became harder and harder for us to build our business online. And we realized, if we really want to achieve our vision, our global vision of having this global organization of helping and impacting tens of thousands of people, this isn't the place that we're able to do it. Now, the reason we share that story is because you've got to think about the kind of lifestyle you want to live in your life, right? So forget about your business for a minute. Think about the lifestyle you want to live, right? Think about the kind of impact you want to make. Think about even the type of activities you want to be doing on a weekly basis. Do you want to be going out several nights a week for home parties? Maybe you do. I've got a good friend who she's crushing it in her home party business. She loves it. It lets her leave the house a few nights a week. Her husband watches the kids. She loves it, right? So there's not a wrong or a right here. There's only what's wrong or right for you. But
Elaine is asking, and this is a great question. Elaine is asking, she said, so what kind of research did we do? She said, I love my company, but I know the money could be better. And sometimes it is. It's about and that's one of the things that we want to help you evaluate. And the checklist, as far as those things, we're going to cover some of those things, but you can grab the checklist at globalfreedomcommunity.com/47, Elaine, and that will help you a whole lot with what, with the situation you're in. But we're also going to cover some of those things here today as well.
Absolutely, for sure. But it all starts with being crystal clear on the kind of lifestyle that you're looking for from your business, right?
Yeah,
your business is the vehicle that's going to make the lifestyle you want possible. But you got to be in the right vehicle to get where you want to go, right? Like if I want to go to Paris, I'm not going to get there in my Subaru, right? I'm going to need to probably not going to get from Texas to Paris in my Subaru. I'm going to need to get on some kind of airplane or at the very least a boat, right? And so you've got to have the right vehicle depending on where you want to go. And, what I love about this is when you get really clear on the lifestyle, the impact, the money you want to make, that's a big thing. We're in this business to make money at the end of the day, right? Because more money equals more impact. And when you realize exactly what you want, it either makes it easier to stay knowing I'm in the right place and I'm going to tough this out, because every business goes through ups and downs, right? Every business.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You're not going to have a perfect business. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry. If there is one, if someone knows of one, please let us know. But it doesn't exist, right? And so you're going to have ups and downs on your journey. But when you know you're in the right place, it's easy to stay and tough that out. But just the same, if you know you're in the wrong place, it's easier to make that tough decision to go look for a new place, right? So just a few little tips. So let's dive in. Let's talk about some of the things to consider when you're evaluating.
Yeah. And if you're on or you're catching the replay, drop in the comments and let us know how many companies you've been with. And there's nothing wrong with being with more than one company. I want to make that really clear. I have been with multiple companies in the last 22 years. And guess what? Each one, when I walked away, I knew more than I knew before. I looked at each one as just a step in, just part of the journey. And you're learning all the time. And I want to point out one other little thing before we jump into leadership and this, the things that we're evaluating, and leadership being one of those. But that is that so many times with our first company, sometimes even our first, second, maybe third company, we're in there, like we mentioned earlier, we stumbled into it, and it's kind of a hobby. It's like a little something to do on the side to hopefully make a little money instead of spending money. But we're thinking of it as like a little hobby, a part-time thing, just to make a little extra and have some fun. And you know what? That's okay. But many times, and that's what today's episode is for, is many times what happens is once you get into this industry and you get a big picture of what's possible, it's no longer a hobby. It's no longer, you start getting like big time goals and you're like, okay, I need to evaluate where I'm at and really figure out, is this, am I going to be able to make it to where I want to get? Is this going to get me to my goals? Which is what Jordan was talking about earlier with that crystal clear vision. Okay. So let's talk about leadership. Okay. We're going to talk about the things to consider when evaluating a network marketing company. We've got several things here for you. The first one being leadership. And I want to say, yes, first of all, perfectly clear. I want to make sure this is true. I don't want to ever deny this. There are people having success in every single company. Okay. Every single company has somebody making good money. Okay. And I love that you're dropping your numbers in the comments. So 6 companies for Debbie, and Lily.
Lily.
Yeah. And yeah, Debbie, that's me. I've been with some of them more than once, which always made me laugh. But you know what? It is what it is. It's part of the journey.
It's the journey.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to go back to be reminded why you left, right?
And then sometimes it works out,
Yeah, so sometimes you need you left and you're like, man, I shouldn't have done that, right? So it happens both ways.
Exactly, but I love that. So thanks for your comments. Those are cool. Okay, so what you want to consider is what kind of leadership and training you're going to be able to plug into immediately. And I always say this, the company, you want to make sure that there is some good leadership there with training and people guiding you in the right direction, especially if you're brand new to the industry, or maybe you're brand, like you don't have a track record of doing really well, then plugging into leadership is really important, okay? Plug it in someplace where there is leadership, where you're gonna have support, and support not from people just wanting to be your friend. I've had that kind of support, and it's wonderful. It's important as far as having neighbors and as far as having friends, that's super, but in building a business, that's, you need a lot more than that. You need someone that has, like, they are where you want to be, and they're willing to show you, help you, guide you, plug you into using the tools they're using to get there. So if the person that you enrolled under hasn't had huge success yet, do they have access to the leaders who do? So what I want to make this clear, it doesn't mean you have to join under a person at the top of the company. In fact, that is not a good thing. Okay. And I won't say it's not a good thing. It's not by any means.
You can find a leg that has multiple leaders. Now you get to plug in with all those leaders, right? And they're growing leaders. They might not have a huge rank title yet, but that's okay. Like, you're going to get help from everybody. That's pretty cool.
So you want to look at the overall and ask those questions, make sure to tell them, I want to get to know who is your sponsor and who is their sponsor. And let's talk about, show me what the leadership is here in this line of people. Okay. Whatever it's called within that company. So a good indicator.
The worst thing, and I've heard this so many times, it's like, well, I joined under my neighbor, but she quit and now I have no help, right? It's like you have no support. You don't even know who your neighbor enrolled under. I mean, there's probably leadership up there somewhere. So like, figure out who that is. But that is something we hear a lot. It's like, well, I joined under my neighbor, but she quit and now I'm by myself, right? And so it's nice to always know who your leadership line is.
Yeah, and cross-line is super, like having, there being other people within the company that are willing to help each other. There is a lot to be said for that, but it's still not quite the same as it being someone actually that's going to really truly benefit from helping you. I mean, they're busy. They're building their team, building their business. And so to step out and help people that aren't, they can only do that with so many people, right? Because we've all only got so much time, and they probably have team tools that are just for their team. So, a good indicator of this is to see if there are new people continuing to climb the ranks, okay? You want to make sure that there's still, like, that it's not one of those things where the success story, it happened 5 years ago and there's nothing else to tell. That's not a good sign. You're looking for where there is, like, success is happening regularly, okay? So Debbie says she just started with a new company, still trying to find the right fit. Perfectly understandable. Let's see. Someone else here says, and again, we can't always see who it is, but said 2 companies, one in high school and the present one for the last 5 years. And I am successful. That's awesome. So yeah, really good things. At my present company, I was never shown how to do my first order. Oh my goodness, bless your heart. That's tough. Worked hard to get to where I am. Yep, very cool. I love all your
Doesn't
comments.
that teach you how to be resourceful though, right? Like pretty cool.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So what's number 2, Jordan?
All right, number 2, your marketing and company culture. And again, this is another one of those where there's not a wrong or a right. There is only what is wrong or right for you. Okay, so we're just going to share some things to think about, and then you got to make your own decision. But you got to think about, is this company primarily built doing home parties, meetings, in-home launches, coffee shop appointments, monthly mixers where you go to a restaurant or something like that? Do they use three-way calls? Or are they primarily built online? And sometimes you have to really dig to get this information, because we've joined a company before where they're like, oh yeah, we're online. But then you join and it's like, okay, you got to have a launch in your living room, and we have this mixer once a month. You got to bring all your guests to this mixer. And, you're trying to schedule three-way calls with people every hour of the day and night. And we look up 30 days later, or 3 months later, more like it, about 90 days later. And we're driving to 3 different cities all over the state of Texas once a month to do launches for people, which was fine. Like, we enjoyed it. We were grateful to do it, but it wasn't what we wanted to do forever, right? We didn't like leaving our family for the weekend every single month to go drive. We called it the trifecta tour, right? All over the state of Texas. It wasn't what we wanted to do. That's not how we wanted to spend our time, right? And so you've got to evaluate, like, what's the primary way that people build? And is that the way I also want to build, right? Yeah. And like I said, both can totally work, but the lifestyle is completely different. Now, the pros to working offline is you get to socialize more, you get out of the house. It's like really, maybe a little more fun. You get to see people. I say all that, I'm talking to you extroverts, because that does not sound super fun to me, but I know it is for a lot of people. So I'm just throwing that out there because I know it's true, not true for me. But many prefer online strategies because it takes less time. It gives a little more leverage. You can build globally, right? You're not so locked into your local area. So look at those ideas. Think about that. We could drive to 3 cities in Texas once a month. But if, when someone joined our team in Pennsylvania, we couldn't drive to Pennsylvania once a month from Texas and help them with meetings. And so you've got to think about those kinds of things, and then choosing the option that's best for you and evaluating, okay, does the company have this system already in place, or is this something I'm going to have to put together? And I'll tell you, we've put those systems together for ourselves where we did build online. We had the fastest growing team in our company by doing that. We were the only team growing online at that particular company, the one we were with for over 10 years. It's a lot of freaking work. I'm just going to say it's a lot of work, but it's possible. It's doable. Just know, if you want to build online in a company that's primarily offline, you're going to have to put in some work to make that possible for you and your team. But the cool thing is your team does get to benefit from all of that work. So
absolutely. Yeah. So, and then the products, and, we touched on this when we were laughing about my first company being home accessories. Okay. It was, like baskets and silk plants and photo frames and wallpaper border. Anyone remember wallpaper border? It was part of it.
Mom.
Oh my gosh. It was, but it was great memories. We learned so much, and we learned a ton. It was a party plan company, but guess what? Those products were not consumable. Okay. So like if I had a party tonight with some people, and there were many times I would do like $1,000 in sales in one evening or one Saturday morning. But guess what? None of those people, well, one thing, they had used up their budget, because this stuff wasn't like, this was extra stuff. This wasn't stuff that they were, using in their lives on a regular basis anyway. This is just fun stuff that they wanted. Okay. But they weren't consumable. They didn't use them up. And so they didn't need to replace them. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, they would buy a few baskets or buy a plant or buy a few things. But guess what? The next month, they didn't need to replace that basket. They didn't need to replace that plant. They certainly weren't going to replace the wallpaper border, right? It's just not something you do on a monthly basis. So this is huge. And so while there are a lot of successful companies out there with non-consumable products, the trick there is you talk about needing to always expand your network. That is just like absolutely necessary, because these people aren't going to purchase. They may purchase again, but they're not going to purchase monthly. Okay. Usually the majority of your customers are not going to be people that buy from you every month. So to create your volume again the next month, for your team to create their volume, we've got to always be expanding our network, which we teach that in everything, right? But not to the degree of here. Okay, Debbie, that was funny. Yeah, that's funny. Okay, so anyway, finding a company with products that people use and will reorder has always been a non-negotiable for us since we learned that that was not a good thing. In fact, I remember we were with a candle company for over 10 years. That's the one Jordan was talking about earlier. And it was great, but there again, how many candles can a person burn in a month, even if they are like a major candle burning person, like they just burn, light candles every single day, which most people don't. They're usually for special occasions and that kind of thing, but they sit around and then you light them occasionally. But it was consumable, but not quite as much. And I realized that the longer we were there. Yep. So anyway, at the end of the day, choosing the best network marketing company, it's not a personal decision, in my opinion. It's a business decision. Yes, it's your decision, and you've got to decide, and no one needs to get into your business and do that for you. But I want you to evaluate it from a business, like from an entrepreneur's mindset.
And when we decided to leave the company we'd been with for over 10 years, it wasn't because we hated the owners. No. It wasn't because we didn't like our team. We weren't trying to leave our team, and it sucks because some people felt that way, right? Mm-hmm. Like when you have a team that big and you make that kind of a decision, it's not something you make lightly. It impacted a lot of people, mm-hmm. but it also came down to where we didn't even feel good sharing the business anymore and telling people about all the money they could make because we knew how hard it was to make it there, right? Mm-hmm. And that was due to some things that were going on in the company. And so it's not a personal attack on anyone if you leave. You're making a business decision, right? Yeah. And at the end of the day, that's what's best for you and your family and your future team members, right? Mm-hmm. And like I said, maybe you're in the perfect place. That's awesome. But if you realize you're not, it's okay. It's 100% okay.
Oh, yeah. And that's why we put this together. It is a question that we get almost every single week. And we thought, you know what, we should put something together for people so that we can say, hey, here's how this is what we use. This is our criteria. And that's why we what always helps us to decide what to put together each week for our episodes is based on questions that come in on a regular basis.
Absolutely. So if you want our full checklist, we covered some of these things today. Okay. But we have a full checklist. It's actually 2 pages long. It's really cool. Over on the blog post at globalfreedomcommunity.com/47. Okay. So, you definitely want to go over and grab that, take a look at it. Debbie, if you're asking about the 30 done for you posts, that is not a part of Freedom University. That's a different little product we put together. It's basically templates to help you do 30 days of social media posts. They're kind of like copy paste templates you can put in. They follow the same posting strategy that we use in Freedom University, but they are they're kind of done for you to kind of help you, give you some ideas, right? And they're very personalized. I love them. Someone once said, well, you shouldn't copy paste posts. And I totally agree. You should not. These are like fill in the blank templates, but they give you so many great ideas. So just that's to answer your question. But yeah, head on over to the blog, grab that checklist. And we really appreciate you guys hanging out with us today.
Yeah. So question of the week, every week we like to end our episode or our little time here with you guys asking a question. So we want to know in the comments, what was your number one reason for choosing the company that you're currently with? Like, why did you choose your company? Was it the products? Was it the leadership? Was it the compensation plan? Was it because I wanted to work with my sister? I wanted to work with my mother. it doesn't matter. There's no wrong or right. I mean, we've joined for so many different reasons. So so many things are good. Oh, we're excited to have you here, Debbie. I didn't think I had seen you on before, but it's so hard to know. So we're glad you let us know that. And we're glad you enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments, what was the number one reason that for you for choosing the company that you're with. So you guys have a great rest of your week. And we look forward to
right back here. Have a great, for those of you in Canada, happy Canada Day. And for those of you in the US, happy 4th of July coming up this weekend. And you guys have an amazing rest of your week. We'll see you next Wednesday for Coffee with K and J.
And stay safe.
Yes. Bye, you guys.